Oh, yeah. And two, oh, he's left.
All right, so we had OBS Studio crash. That was awesome. I never had that happen before.
You know what would be a big favor to me? If you went over to the alternate and picked up some fam and took notes. Yeah,
Okay.
the other one. You could just in your cell phone open up notes, the notepad in your cell phone,
Yeah, he does.
and just instead of having to run out.
Okay.
Just the ones that I wouldn't suspect or you wouldn't suspect or I need to know about, comments made, especially considering we just shut down. Uh, we good?
We're all good on this end.
We got Periscope back up. Every now and then, OBS will just crap out.
Oh yeah, it used to be really weird. Like when I would have OBS running, I'd shut it down, and then my mouse would just do whatever it wanted. Like I couldn't control it at all.
Yeah, we're having trouble. Like the Politico is not lined up with the New York Times. We're going to switch over and see what people are saying. We're going to go over to look at some decision desk stuff because I think Ronnie Jackson's actually closer to wrapping this thing up. And do we have a lag here or what? All right. Switch over and start it back up on the. All right. And we're back. Well, we went down harder than Jeff Sessions there for a minute.
Yeah, that was pretty tough.
Yeah, that was a. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was going to check decision desk. Texas, they're mainly concerned with the Democrat primary there. I like to check over there sometimes. They have good. So far, New York Times is still, unfortunately, the place to go a lot of times to get these results as quick as you need them. It helps that they're pushing the paywall like their life depends on it,
Yeah, there's a little easy way around that, but you have to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's over and over again. It bothers the shit out of me.
Yeah, they actually they use an a. I was trying to hook into their stuff for like graphics on this, but they actually use an API, I do believe, from Reuters.
Yeah, blowout indeed. Not getting any closer up there. Looks like Coach is he's riding the 200,000 mark, which is nice. Leah is alerting us to go ahead and check the president's Twitter account,
Oh,
which of course I will get to right now. 2 minutes ago, the president just tweeted, "Wow, just called. Tommy Tuberville won big against Jeff Sessions. Will be a great senator for the incredible people of Alabama. Doug Jones is a terrible senator who is just a super liberal puppet for Schumer and Pelosi. Represents Alabama poorly. On to November 3rd." You know what? I think I'm going to give that a retweet. What do you say? He also, a couple hours ago, our new rising star out of PA in the congressional races as a candidate against Connor Lamb is Sean Parnell. Seems to be a favorite of a lot of people. He's retweeted his thanks to his support for growing and swelling the ranks of his operation. I know his fundraising is going well, and it's always good to add an extra congressman that we unfairly lost because of an illegal redistricting move by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court a couple years ago. Now, I don't know if you could bring this up and play it. Can you play any media on here?
sure.
But if you want to go, let me send this to you. Well, actually, if you want to go to at Jordan Parker _ on Twitter, all one word, Jordan Parker _ at 9:42, he tweeted the president's call to the coach. If we could play that, if you can.
Let me run down the gauntlet.
I just retweeted it on mine.
Alright, then I'll go to yours instead of having to.
Yeah. It's the last one I retweeted. This was a big one for Trump, folks. I can't tell you how much he wanted this one.
Alright, let me get this up on the screen. Alright, let's play it out.
Mr. President, I've got about 80 of my avid supporters here, and I just wanted to hear your words. And hey, listen, I appreciate your support because this is as much about you as it is me. So. We were both on the line, and you had great courage and strength. You want to put me on speaker? I'll say hello to them. Yep. All right, you're on speaker, Mr. President.
Sessions is gone. Do you think Sessions got a call from Trump? I mean, he's been dunking on him for like ever now. Are you muted? Yeah, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I unmuted. I muted
Alright.
so I could play the video on my
Alright,
end
cool.
because I can't hear it on the other device.
Gotcha.
I was just saying, catching up on the Ronnie Jackson thing.
Alright.
Race. We're talking to somebody else anyway. So we're looking at Ronnie Jackson. We're pretty close to a call on that race, I think.
Their decision desk. My county. That's the decision desk.
Yeah, well, I won't give you.
It won't. You want me to download it? That doesn't give me anything on the
No,
screen.
can we go back to where we had the other
The times?
Ronnie Jackson?
73%.
So there's still 100 precincts out. 73% reporting. His lead has grown to almost 10%. So that's pretty big. All right. I have sent the congratulatory notes to the appropriate staffers that worked very hard to get the senator-elect, soon-to-be senator-elect after November 3rd. The congratulations. Good tweet from Emerald Robinson, formerly of One American News, and she's a firecracker. Alabama voters just recused Jeff Sessions permanently. That's a good enough to get a retweet out of me. Emerald's a little tough on the president on a few things that I think are just not fair occasionally, but that of course we'll get. Yo, can I point out something else that I found out earlier? Slider, I'm gonna try to find this. Oh, who put this out? Somebody found, I'm blocked, of course, when the Q phenomenon started, I was one of the first ones blocked by everybody, of course. And Lisa Mae Crowley, I think it was one of the first to block me. Lisa Mae Crowley actually put out a tweet today. Somebody screenshotted it for me. God, I wish I could remember who the hell sent that to me. Indicating that this was merely a test, that all of this was a test by Trump to show us that if we banded together, we could be stronger than any endorsement, and we could elect Jeff Sessions. Like it was all a game, man. It was all a game.
Yeah, it's just theater, don't you know?
It's all theater, don't you know? They say in Ireland. I really want to find that. I really want to, because it was flat out hilarious. So who is ever watching, who sent me that, please send it to me again, because it was good. It was so good. I think my good friend Brian, not this Brian over here, but my friend Brian from Florida, just texted me, best news I've had in a shit week. And he has had a shit week, and I don't want to give too much details away, other than he had a pretty big loss, personal loss. And, it's not my place to talk about it, but if you throw up hopes and you throw up prayers for people to get past their grief quickly and cherish the memories and replace that with, having to grieve. It was not COVID related, I can tell you, but to lose a parent is probably the hardest thing that we're all going to do at one point in our lives, and it's inevitable. It's obviously preferable to the parent not to have it the other way around. Doesn't dampen the pain. So I know that this is just a little bit good news for my good friend Brian, who could be watching on either YouTube or Periscope. He's the lurking type. He's always there, but doesn't type much. But he's been one of my best friends, confidants, there when I'm ready to pull the plug and I don't feel like doing it anymore. And I got frustrated. I got good friends like Brian and Jen and Brian Wilson, and then obviously a lot more of y'all keep me going, but a very special friend who experienced a loss. But hey, we won tonight, so I'd like to take the time to give a toast to the lost loved one to a good friend of mine, and if we could do that, I'd appreciate that. The Dixie family send us love. All right, and I see Tim Anderson's in here. And Tim, I've been trying. I've been busy, but I did see a lot of your last broadcasts, and it's going to take a while. Don't get frustrated. It takes a while to build up your own channel and your own niche, but you're going to be on your way with it, because the interesting news on the economy side is where we're going to be from between now and the election. It's all going to hinge on the economy. So good luck on. Keep producing that show. I promise you, it'll get bigger and bigger. I'm glad to have you in here, and I was glad to see that you supported Coach Tuberville, and you tweeted that support as well. So again, if you have not, we're on a different YouTube channel. The gentleman over here to my left, your right, or the opposite speaking, whatever you're looking at, maybe you're in a mirror. That slider, he's been around a while. Twitter did not like him.
They don't.
They seem to boot him like a man not wearing a mask at going into a bus in New York. He gets kicked off a lot. So he's going to get older and wiser and learn not to play with trolls. And he's going to grow this channel, and he's going to grow his app, which is obviously something that we talk about quite frequently. And that'll bring you the news, and it'll bring you an authentic hashtag to go along with it automatically on your tweets on breaking news, among other things. Like we'll probably work together on some voting tutorials on getting people out to vote. Not only GoTV issues, but volunteering in general. It's going to be polling information, broad polling information, taking a collective aggregate view of it and bringing it into sections of the app, and you can do your own comparisons on that instead of having to believe what's ever told you on TV. So to the Republic, if you want to tell them how to find it on Apple, how better to describe that than me.
Yeah, I mean, all you really got to do is just in the search is put To the Republic app in. It'll aggregate all the ones for you. We should be at the top 1 or 2 or 3. I did find that tweet by your concubine, Lisa Mae Crowley.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Well, you please do. Enlighten the crowd.
She opines, I just had a thought. With POTUS repeatedly bashing Sessions and endorsing his globalist opponent for today's election in Alabama, is this his way of showing/teaching us how powerful we can be with our voices and votes, regardless of any POTUS endorsement with when Sessions wins today?
Wow. Is that another Q-proof? Is that another Q-proof? Are we sold on Q now?
Can we make it, instead of a Q-proof, we can call them Q-poofs?
Almost like,
Yep.
That's what I call them.
Yep.
Poof, gone. And then they never talk about it again.
They don't, like it never even happened.
Now that the screenshot that she accompanies that tweet, is that not of a Q post from like 2018?
Yes.
I mean, what world are you living in? That you think that the the primary is going to result in a runoff of maybe you would think Jeff Sessions 2 years ago, if he got fired and then ran for Senate, why would he not get 50% of the vote? There wouldn't be a runoff, right?
Right.
So what the hell does it have to do with anything? I don't know. It's ridiculous. All I want to know, damn it, will they declare Ronnie already?
It's 78% reporting. And 318 out of 409 precincts.
It's what points? How many points?
54.5, 45.5.
Okay, so it's been pretty steady the whole way down.
Every time Ronnie goes up, he goes up. It's still like a 10, almost 10%.
Almost 10. And you said how many precincts left?
About a little less than 100.
Okay. This is one of those things with Texas. There's going to be there's going to be some ballots coming in, but a 10 point will go to bed happy no matter what happens out of there. But I want to make sure everybody remembers that Ronnie Jackson was a former surgeon, the White House. What do they call him? White House physician? I guess that's the typical White House physician. And if you remember, he was put up for the VA slot, and they came after him. John Tester, terrible man out of Montana, just decided he was a senator not going to allow Ronnie Jackson to get that job. And they came up with pills and booze and all kinds of rumors, you can imagine, and none of that was true. And so, Trump said, I'm just going to pull this. I don't want you to go through this. You're too good a man to do it. So, Ronnie Jackson decided to, you know what? If you want to play politics with my career, I'm going to play politics for real. And the good doctor is now set. Big Fish has called it. So Big Fish News is the first one to call the race.
Yes, well, now it just went up. There's 81 remaining precincts, and it's 80% reporting. And he's still up 54.9, 55.45.
It's over. Big Fish News, backed up by To the Republic News, has broken and called for the first publications to call the race for Ronnie Jackson. And give me that district number again. I forget it already.
13.
13. Good news is piling up like I don't even have a good euphemism for it. This is the pile on of good news. And boy, could we use it. Could we use it?
I needed it.
Yeah, you needed it. I needed it. Jen needed it. Brian needed it. I can tell you a few people that were like in my timelines over the last week just asking me if the earth was falling apart. Nope. The answer is no. I want to know one more thing about Texas, and that is the Democrat primary on the U.S. Senator side between the abortion queen and Royce West.
Hager is 52.2 to 47.8.
Yeah.
Only 54% reporting.
Yeah, she's probably going to win now, unless there's Dallas-Fort Worth isn't reported in yet.
Let me see if it shows without me.
If you have a county breakdown, you look for Dallas-Fort Worth area.
I will. It only lets me go, and then it wants me to pay again. Hold on, Texas.
Just jumping back forth between Periscope and YouTube here, reading your comments. I know that everybody here is ecstatic, as you should be.
Do you have a particular county, Adam? There's no Fort Worth County. There's
But Yeah, any counties up in the northeast of the.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
Mr. Rolo, okay.
Hey, Royce West was down like 15 points a couple weeks ago, and the Black Lives Matter started to really pick up or kick up some dust, if you will. And all of a sudden, he started to get some earned media, which he could compete with the money that was raised from the abortion queen. And frankly, I don't care which one goes up against John Cornyn, to be honest with you. I think John Cornyn's going to win that. I mean, you read a poll, I read a poll, some nonsense about Biden being in +5 in Texas. If you believe that, then, you know what they say. Buy a bridge in Arizona or something. I don't know.
I'll start selling some canned air.
Yeah, let's start, or some stroke spoons. Boy, do we have some stroke spoons for you. So, are you going to sell any vitamins? Did I ever ask you that yet? Is that something on your
No,
horizon?
nope, no vitamins. But I definitely
No
want to sell
vitamins?
Dilly's mom some condoms because
Ooh, it's too late for that. Too late
yeah.
for that, I'm afraid. Cat's out of the big old barn doors there. That's too late. Do we have Trump numbers? Are they huge? As far as what, Texas, not looked at anything. Interesting question. You know what? I haven't checked NBC yet. Sometimes NBC is not too bad.
Okay, Ronnie went up more.
If you wanted to know what his numbers were back on May 1st in Texas, it was pretty good. I don't know what else. What other states are you looking for? Alabama, those were back in March. He had great numbers. So, let me know what state you're. There's only a couple states left that have primaries. So. Delaware was the last one I saw, and Trump pulled in decent numbers. We're not going to win Delaware, so who cares? So what other? I know there was one more Texas race, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Texas 3rd District on the Democrat side.
There's a 17th congressional district, Republican.
Yeah.
Pete Sessions is fairly.
Yeah, the Pete Sessions seat. That's the one.
Yeah, he's leading Renee Swan by 53.3 to 46.7.
That's called.
No, it's not called yet. There's still over like 120, 117 outstanding precincts.
That's 17th. Texas 17th district.
Yeah, that's the 17th. There's also one in the 16th. Irene Armendariz Jackson and Sam Williams.
How many surprises am I going to be in for? Yeah.
So Ronnie's lead is increasing, 83.
Oh, yeah?
reporting. He's at a little now over 10%. He's almost at 11%.
Okay.
Increase.
It is good. Yeah, if Big Fish is offering to call any race that we're.
What was his catchphrase? BFN, when you need to be right only half of the time until you find out otherwise.
Until you find out otherwise. He is a wise man. He is a wise man. He is my go-to source. Tell you, he's don't be fooled by the levity. I mean, he's a serious player now in Michigan politics. And I think he's going to be on the ground floor for the John James effort, which is looking to me every bit the opportunity that we have in Alabama, to be honest with you. Gary Peters is just a wet, limp, loose, autumn leaf in a windstorm, hanging on to a twig. And it ain't going to take much of a wind gust to get him down to the ground. I think John James is the man for that, because I think we've got a couple quarters of fundraising victories lined up. And I still don't think anybody in Washington, never mind Michigan, knows who the hell Gary Peters is. So when you got these Susan Collins and Corey Gardners to worry about and Martha McSally's, it sure is nice to bed down at night knowing that you got Coach Tuberville going against Doug Jones and you got John James going against Gary Peters. I mean, that gives you a little, it's almost like an insurance policy, in case your roof gets caved in by a tree, you've got a policy that's going to get it fixed. If we didn't have those two competitive races, this is not supposed to be the flip of the calendar year that's in favor for the Republicans. We're defending more territory, obviously, by twice, 2 times over. So this is just so unique to have an opportunity to have candidates like Tommy Tuberville and John James, just 2 budding superstars, and in states that are going to be, polemically inclined on issues during the presidential election that not ideologically matched up. So to have a successful military vet, African American, on the top of his game, and John James in Michigan, where we've got a totally different argument to make to elect Donald Trump, and then down in Alabama, where people have a different set of economic and social objectives down there, and I think that Coach Tuberville is the perfect guy. He's a Southern man. He's a man that they've known and seen on their TV screens for more than 20 some years. This guy speaks the common man's language. He knows how to go into mom and dad's kitchen table and talk about taking care of their kid, and that means he knows how to go into their kitchen table and sit down and talk about taking care of their economy, their jobs, their way of life. So I think that Tommy Tuberville is a perfect man, perfect time for the state of Alabama, in the perfect race, the perfect contrast against Doug Jones, who looks every bit of what he is, a fuddy-duddy, voted to impeach the president of the United States, on a meritless charge or two. I think that he's made some comments about gun control that have gone 10 steps up the ladder too far for the NRA and the many, many, many loyal followers in the state of Alabama. And I think Tommy strikes a good balance on how to be, ideologically appropriate in the South without having to apologize for, sticking up for certain parts of the culture. And to say that, when I say Southern culture and you say that Southern culture equals racism, then you're the racist, because you're trying to paint a broad brush over an entire state and say that they're racist, and that's just that's not true. So certainly, if there's anybody who can break through that barrier, Tommy Tuberville has been talking to African American students and parents since the early 90s. Back, when he was a offensive line coach for the University of Miami for some of the greatest football teams that college football ever had. And of course, all the way up into the late 90s and early 2000s with Auburn. And he's a championship coach. He knows how to talk to people. And when I listen to John James, it's the same thing. So they have called it for the abortion queen.
Yes.
Okay.
The decision doesn't get, but not the final.
Okay. So the abortion queen, Hager, will be running against John Cornyn. And I think that presents a pretty fair contrast in an election year for Donald Trump and John Cornyn. I do not think Texas is in play. I do want Joe Biden and the limp-wristed Lincoln Project boys to spend as much money as they possibly can in Texas.
Yep, burn that money.
Yeah, earn that money. Get them TV stations that money. Now, for these shits and giggles part of our show, we're going to go back and dredge a little bit more through the results of the Alabama Senate election. And what I have here is not too much outstanding. And I am showing Tommy at 62% of the vote. I am showing Jeff Sessions at 38. And it is over a 100,000 vote differential. And Tommy's reach, that was stunted a little bit in the original primary to the north, has just overtaken most of the South, Montgomery, and then all the way down outside of Mobile. It's amazing to watch that type of transition. Let's see what he ended up with. Madison was basically the hometown for Jeffro, and that's his only real win by significant numbers. And then he barely pulled it out in Mobile, and that would have been even worse if Trump got down there for that rally on Saturday that had to be canceled this past time around because of COVID. So just huge win. I mean, not only is this decimating any idea that Jeff Sessions was a viable candidate against Doug Jones, what you're actually seeing is it's a monster total that's going to scare the ever-loving crap of Doug Jones. Doug Jones is going to have to run to the right at a time where his entire party is running to the left. And that's a big deal, because depending on how things shake out in Georgia, this might be a way to correct the wrongs that have been happening here. And I'm happy about it. Hell, I'm thrilled about it. I think at this stage, whatever happens in Alabama can easily spread into all areas of Georgia that are not in Atlanta or Alpharetta. And certainly it will bolster the panhandle in Florida from Tallahassee over to Pensacola. You got anything else, just shout it out. They're not interrupting us soon.
Still stuck. 86% in Ronnie Jackson's reporting. He's up 11, almost 11%.
Well, I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna openly call for a second White Claw in celebration here.
Okay. Mango.
Oh, perfect, yeah. I haven't had it in a long time, and I forgot how good mango is. Yeah. Nothing says manliness like a mango seltzer while you're on live broadcast. So we didn't have champagne. We should have thought ahead and got some champagne. We absolutely should have. That's my fault. Rushing around. today. You all rushing around today. And I'm glad that this isn't going to run too long, because it's giving me more time to hang out with you guys tonight. Well, we'll be on here for a couple more minutes to talk about everything you saw and did today. Boy, I feel like the tone's going to change now. Don't you all feel like tomorrow's going to be a little bit different in the media?
Yes.
I can see Fox and Friends up real early. Jamel Hill starting at like whatever she starts at 5 in the morning and saying, what a day it was yesterday for the President of the United States and the people that he supported. And his endorsements are still carrying a lot of weight, and that's what you want. I mean, a hamstrung, collapsed, Jimmy Carter cratering presidency doesn't produce results like this, okay? While Tommy is a unbelievable good fit, it does not equate to this trouncing of what was once a local hero. It is the power of the presidency, the thumb on the scale, and the intensity of the hatred that he had for this man, the Keebler, who will go down now, I said, historically in the books as just one of the most beaten down creatures to ever inhabit national politics. Rightly so. But in the case of Ronnie Jackson, they attempted to run him out of Washington. They attempted to take away his livelihood. They attempted to ruin his family and his reputation as a doctor. And now, I believe everyone has called that race. I don't think there's anybody out there that hasn't called Ronnie Jackson.
Times still hasn't called.
Who hasn't?
The Times.
Well, the hateful New York Times.
Yeah.
Because that really bothers the New York Times. I mean, that John Tester rode the New York Times to block his nomination to the VA secretary. So they don't want to give him that record. But that's still a 9-point lead?
11.
That's an 11-point lead with what, 70 precincts or less?
Yeah. It's 55.5, so basically 56 to 44. It's 11%.
And Big Fish has already declared it. So what are we even talking about? I mean, Big Fish News and To the Republic have both declared Ronnie Jackson the winner of that race, and we know
7% reporting now. They
Yeah.
still haven't called.
who's going to win the general as well.
The decision desk called both, all of them.
Good. They don't mess around too much.
Is that other Texas, not the 17th, the 22nd congressional Republican primary runoff?
Yeah, what's-
Troy Nels, he trounced Kathleen Wall. 72 to 28.
Oh, hey-oh. What's the latest on those Sessions numbers, Pete Sessions?
Pete, still stuck at 67% reporting. He's still up 53.3 to 46.7.
So Pete's looking okay. You know, the president likes Pete Sessions, so.
Yes. Different sessions, too bad. he
Yeah,
has a
different
lot.
session. You know, we're getting our sessions all mixed up, but so everybody knows, Pete Sessions good, Jeff Sessions bad.
Is there anything in Maine for the Republicans today? It says Maine. Oh, Democratic. Oh, I'm walking.
Wow.
Yeah, Jeff Sessions is struggling to get what he got during the March 3rd primary, and Tuberville is just like 40-some thousand over what he got in the primary.
Yeah, it's
Embarrassing.
yeah. There's no other way to say it. It's absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. The the good news just keeps on coming in. Let's see here. Yeah, I was going to read off some of this stuff about Ronnie Jackson's decorations, award badges, and all that other stuff. But it's just, if you go to his wiki page, there's just too much. I can't read them all. I mean, it's just, he's got commendations, medals, combat. It's all over the place. I mean, everywhere. I mean, this is pretty. It's a pretty intense thing to see Democrats turn against somebody who was the physician to Obama and then the president, and then accuse him of giving the president a faulty mental acuity test and lying about his health. And then all of a sudden, when he gets put up for VA, a secretary, they say, nope, you're a pill-popping drug addict who crashed like 3 cars. Then they proved it was all a lie. So they will lie, and they will do things that you just can't believe they're going to do. So anyway, now that he is declared, I want to tell you that the 13th district is plus 33, Republican plus 33. So the threat, the Cook PVI is plus 33, which means he could essentially transition into a woman between now and November, and he will win by at least 20 points.
So the media talking point will be in the 23rd congressional district runoff that Trump, I'm looking at the Times, endorsed Tony Gonzalez, and he's losing to Paul Reyes.
Oh, that was the Ted Cruz versus Trump one.
Yes.
And what's the split on that?
Right now, it's 51.7 Reyes to 48.3 Gonzalez, 87% reporting.
That's close.
Yeah, it's like 700 votes.
That's the Will Hurd district.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're saying the Democrats can pick up the seat.
That's possible. That's why we're running 2 Hispanics, so we don't lose that seat. Yeah, I really want them to win them all. I mean, I'm getting greedy right now. I'm in that mode where I want all of them
Of course they
locked
have
up.
to say that's the one. They don't mention that Trump endorsed the other. They only mention the one that Trump endorsed because he's quote unquote losing that race right now.
Oh, Jesus. This is unbelievable. These people are unbelievable.
Just so.
And the funny thing is the outgoing congressman in the 13th, Thornberry, he endorsed the opponent of Ronnie Jackson.
Josh.
Yeah. So, yeah, Weingarner. Yeah.
No one has called it for Pete Sessions yet. Neither the Decision Desk or the Times. So he's just leading, but no one's called it yet.
People think you're my wife. No, she's already claimed by a hawking figure sitting next to her by the name of Greenskin. No, that's Jen. That is Jen. My wife would not be reading off, I don't think, any election results. So today was like a nightmare day because PA House was trending all over the place. Even these two got caught up in it, seeing it on Twitter, and we just like kicked Wolf in the balls today by passing constitutional amendment to the Senate and the House to limit to 21 days a declaration of emergency for any governor. Now, it's not really going to play in anything. We got to do it again next session, but we're going to hold on to both majorities, which we are expected to do. We're going to pass it again right away in January. And then it's technically 2 sessions that it's been passed through, and then we're going to put it on the primary as a referendum. So we could technically have a constitutional amendment done in a matter of like 8 months, which is really hard to do. Then it just got the Democrats so fired up and pissed off that they flipped out and then had PA House trending all over Twitter. But I thought that was pretty funny because the Democrats have been in the minority so long in Pennsylvania that they're just all they have is this lame duck, limp-wristed second-term liberal in the governor's mansion to play with. So fun day.
There's less than 1,000 vote difference between Reyes and Gonzalez. There's only 947.
Wow.
So it looks like there's only a few counties remaining. But I don't know. I can't fully tell if it's showing me all the counties. But it's less than 1,000 votes. So I don't know if we're going to know anything. Although he's leading Paul Reyes, 1,000 votes, less than 1,000 votes isn't a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of articles here in the Texas publications about the suspected motives of Ted Cruz getting involved as late as he did, and this was almost a slam dunk. Gonzalez was the one, and then all of a sudden there's some nasty mailers that went out from the Reyes, and a misleading mailer here, according to the Texas Tribune, that this is a Jeff Sessions trick that attempted to show or feature Reyes with the president. And, this is one of these sad things where you have people that the president's endorsing your opponent. You're trying to show yourself as somebody who is being endorsed by the president when it's in fact the opposite. So that to me is just reprehensible.
And they haven't called Pete Sessions yet either.
Yeah, we got to get that one wrapped up. Gonzalez had $400,000 of cash on hand compared to Reyes $59,000 going into that. How in the hell is that?
So Sessions, I don't know, what told us. He has a 25, almost 2,600 vote lead, 2,561 votes lead over Renee Swan. I mean, he's up percentage-wise, but he's up over about 2,500 votes. So
Yeah, now we get into what's left.
that's it, and I can't see because it doesn't show me on.
Well, I mean, I want to
Sessions.
know what's left on the mail side of things. I don't know what Texas allowed, or if they restrict on the absentee side, or if they allowed some emergency measures to, increase the number of mailed-in ballots or not.
Okay, the Times finally broke through and called it for Ronnie Jackson with the 90% report.
Hey, let's go on the record right now. Big Fish News.
Yes.
Big Fish News was 30 minutes ahead of the Times. I think Big Fish News is going to be a burgeoning outlet here. Watch out. Watch out, major news cable networks and websites. Big Fish News could take over for the pathetic Drudge Report, which has crashed and burned.
Yeah, what a nightmare that turned out to be.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit now.
So something's going on. Okay, so Gonzalez picked up something. He shrunk the lead a little bit. He's only down by 836 votes.
Okay. And where are you pulling that off of?
This is the Times,
Okay.
and I'm switching between that and the Decision Desk.
So they have called the race for Pete Sessions, according to Michael Caputo.
Okay, well, it's not on any of their websites here, but maybe they did.
So Michael Caputo put out the tweet saying the right Sessions won, which is pretty obvious. So.
Okay, so just no one's officially, whoever's called it then, somebody called it. I told you he was up by over 2,500.
So the disgraced independent reporter has tweeted, I missed this was at 9:58, Ryan James Godarski. I love Jeff Sessions. Yeah, we got that. I think we all picked up on that when you were smearing his opponent for months at a time. Ryan James Godarski says, I love Jeff Sessions. He's a class act, a gentleman, and a champion for the forgotten American. What he means by that is white people. His loss is unfortunate, but what he started will continue. Got bad news for you, Ryan. He didn't start anything. He became Attorney General and stopped everything. That will be his legacy. He didn't start anything. And God forbid, recusals, mass recusals, should never be started to begin with. I don't think any president should have to face it. Good, bad, indifferent, Democrat, Republican, independent. You should never, ever lose control of the executive branch. And I think that's exactly what was allowed to happen under Jeff Sessions' watch. And you never apologized, not once. You never retracted your bullshit story about Tuberville's voting record. You have consistently lied about one of his consultants having any ties to Facebook, meaning that was going to be some kind of Trojan horse on his staff in Washington. You have been wrong. Every time you have been wrong. And I corrected you without mercy. And your attempts to act like you are in some way better informed than I am are laughable. Your attempts to ignore all of my fact-based rejoinders is also the sign of a weak, pathetic man. And I don't know who you are. I don't know what your little book you wrote. I don't know what your newsletter's about. I know that you have even less followers than I do. So you couldn't be bothered to pick up the phone and make a couple phone calls to find out about Tommy's voting record before you lied about it and then contacted your bigoted friends over at the Big League Politics so that they could go and put the story out and broadcast it out. I'm surprised. I don't know if Gateway Pundit printed it or not. I'm sure they did because, the Jim Hoff standard for journalistic integrity tends to be subterranean.
So there's only 2 counties out left for Gonzalez versus Reyes. That's it. But it says only 67% reporting, so that means
2 big-ass counties.
that's got to be 2 Hudspeth. I mean, in Maverick. I don't know where they are yet. I'm just going to look.
If you go down, if the New York Times, they'll tell you the counties.
They're telling me Hudspeth and Maverick, but they don't tell me how big the counties are.
Well, Google those counties and they'll tell you what the size is. And again, for all you people that keep confusing that, it's not my wife. That is Jen Levolate. And her husband is on another project. That's why he's so quiet.
See Cindy Hall. Doesn't seem that big, Adam. Population 4,000. Hudspeth.
That's nothing.
Yeah, so that's that one, and then Maverick.
Shit. Cruz is going to kick us in the balls on that.
Yes, I know he is.
We even had Will Hurd's super PAC, who didn't even like Trump.
Okay, Maverick is big. It's got 58,000.
Oh, yeah. Maverick.
So that's out.
Okay, well, now find out where they both originate from. Google both their last name to find out which towns they're from.
Okay. I will.
Oh, you said. Hold on a second. I got a call. I'll be right back.
All right.
Take over here.
All right, so the 23rd district with Reyes and Gonzalez jumped to 87%
who's this?
reporting.
Hey, Jordan. How are you,
How
brother?
many votes separate these two? Separated by 836 votes.
Well, that's fine. I tell you, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't really need that. But I tell you, you have been.
Let me mute that. See if we can get that race up here. Make a slight adjustment. There we go. All right, Adam, I had you muted again. There we go.
Mute myself, or did you mute that out of courtesy to me?
I muted it as courtesy to you.
Okay, that's probably good. I was just saying that everybody's happy in Alabama tonight, and you can put two and two together yourself. Why I said that after a phone call. So that was very generous of you to mute that. I wasn't sure who it was, but anyway, hard to hear. Hard to hear when you have a party that big going on down there. I think that's the loudest party Alabama's heard in quite some time. It didn't sound like anybody was wearing a mask either, but I won't tell anybody if you won't.
All right, we got the Reyes and Gonzalez race up on the screen.
Okay, yes.
They got 78% reporting.
And you're on the New York Times as well?
I am on the New York Times, yes.
All right, so we got both you and our research assistant, Jen. And did you figure out who is closer?
Okay, so I can't find where Gonzalez was birthed. Reyes was born in the Rio Grande, and he's down on the lower end, and he's closer to that Hudspeth County. That's out.
The smaller one.
Yeah, the smaller one. I can't
Okay.
find where Tony.
You can't find a wiki on Tony Gonzalez?
No, it's not weird. Or you can't
Well,
find-
there's a Ballotpedia on Tony
Oh, Ballot-
Gonzalez.
okay, Ballotpedia.
Click on that, it'll tell you
All
where
right,
he's
tell
from.
me. All right.
See, I didn't think I was going to have to worry about this one. When I saw the cash on hand differential going into the end of this race, I saw Will Hurd was actually supporting our candidate. I didn't think it was going to be any problem. You know, here I am complaining about what? It's like when you you lay down on one of those goose down pillows or something like that, and you get one of those little
Sticks, yeah,
edges. Yeah, you're complaining about the one little thing, even though the rest of the pillow is perfect. So yeah, I'm looking for the fly in the ointment here. Unfortunately, I don't want it to happen, but I don't think I don't know how you close with only a couple. That's incredible though. It says 87 reporting here, 292 out of 335, and those precincts are all in 2 counties. So yeah, that's a whopper. That one county.
Doesn't say on Ballatopia, it just goes in the fact of the name.
Yep, it's 91 reporting now, and 670 votes separate the two.
672. Oh, geez, Louise, this one's going to be close. You all believe in miracles?
Yes,
Tonight I do.
after Trump was elected. I
Anything
started
can happen.
believing
Yeah,
in miracles.
yeah, pretty much.
I started after that.
After November 8th, 2016. Yeah, Trump doubled down with another tweet congratulating Tuberville.
Okay, so Gonzalez is from San Antonio. That's what they say. But I don't know where Maverick. Now I gotta see where Maverick is.
Let me bring up Maverick County on there. My sister, as many people know, lives in San Antonio.
That's one state I've never been to yet, is Texas.
No shit.
Yep, never been there.
Okay, well, it's a big one to miss. I gotta tell you that. Let's see. So that's you said he's around Del Rio, the opponent?
Yes.
Okay, he's closer to Maverick. Yeah, Maverick's right along between Del Rio and Laredo. That doesn't hold out much hope for Gonzalez then, unless he just campaigned there the whole time. Yeah, that's right along. That's right along the river. Some of my favorite, or my sister's favorite places to visit there. It runs up Big Bend National Park. It runs up to Langtree, comes down Del Rio, and it goes to Piedras Negras right to Maverick County there. I've never been to Laredo. Plenty of good country songs about it. Will Texas stay red? You bet your bottom dollar it'll stay red. That will not be one of our problems.
So Adam, it's the percentage stays the same for Hall. It's 51.5 to 48.5, but it's only 675 votes separating them.
Yeah, that means it's going to be a hard gap. Close.
If it's under 1,000, do they do the recounts?
No, Texas, every law is different in
Okay.
every state.
Okay.
Some states have a 1%, and you can ask for it, and then you pay for it. Some cases have emerged in states where they do a 0.5 automatic recount, which is what happened in I think Wisconsin, which we ran into all that trouble up there.
Okay, so this is something just dumped. I'm gonna see, it's now 91% reporting. It was stuck for a while.
Yeah,
Let me see.
yeah. New York Times is sitting on 91 now.
Mhm. It looks like he went up some, but so did Reyes. So it looks like they might have split some.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, unless Big Fish is gonna call this different. I'm gonna have to probably give this one.
Mavericks.
You know, this guy's a Trump guy. He's not upset at the president for the endorsement to his opponent. So I just wonder why.
Okay, Maverick reported, and it went 74.24%. I don't know how, if it's all reported. It says only 198 votes have been in for Maverick. But right now, Tony took the lead by 74.2 to 25.6 of the 200 votes. Only 200 votes are in for Maverick, 198.
Yeah, bring me over the laptop. Big Fish isn't touching this one. This is too close. Even for Big Fish, this is too close.
I'm searching by the counties.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Every time I get close to this thing, why?
It's 'cause
because
you're
it's not a
hitting this.
Mac?
No, probably.
Uh,
Here you go. If you want to get off the counties, click on that thing.
what does it expand to when I go?
Go, let go of it. Just close the X. It just gives you, you
Okay,
search
well,
by all the
then
counties.
Maverick will be down here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you download it, click on this. There you go.
Jesus, this is why I don't do decision desk for this county stuff.
See, it's only 198 in already. That's it.
Yeah, but they do anticipated votes and other things that are wacky on here. So
But if the county has 58,000 people, does it make sense that only 198 votes?
no,
Yeah.
that's why I don't mess around with this. If you can get around that firewall, the
So
paywall in New York Times, much
it
better.
let me for sessions, but it doesn't let me after the two races. It makes me. It's gonna
Yeah,
make
you
me
gotta
Log out and log back in?
Well, not log out and back in. What do you do again? You go to
Up
Right.
where the lock is in the web browser, just click that. Go to cookies and then remove all the cookies and then hit refresh.
yeah, you got to remove the cookies. But you know, you're already doing that on your end, right? So there's no need to have two
Yeah,
New
it's
York
up.
Times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up.
So what I'm seeing is just I need you then to pull the counties down and see if you can put Maverick up, see what's out there,
All right, let's see what we got.
what's not reported yet.
Maverick. It says 100% in.
Now it says 100%.
Yeah, it says 100. 51 for Reyes, 147 for Gonzalez.
Boy, there's something wrong with Maverick County totals then, because he's only saying there's a
Yes.
couple hundred,
Yeah,
and they saying that's reporting as 100%.
that's what I mean. And it said it had 58,000 people. It's weird. I'll look again, but it seems I'm clearing cookies.
That's a hell of a place to have that many people, though. There ain't much there.
Population 558,722. Maverick County, Texas. I don't know.
Let me check a map
That's
here.
still a lot of people.
Well, that might be the only fly in the ointment tonight. What do you think? One fly in the ointment?
I hope so. You know what? No, I don't hope so. I want to win this one too.
Yeah, I do too. But you can't win them all, somebody said.
Yeah, El Paso only has 35% reporting. Edwards is only 20. LaSalle 40. Reeves 20. And all the rest are in.
Okay, so El Paso, that's not in that district. There's an El Paso County there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some sparse areas in this district. I mean, this is down in is down in the
No man's land.
no man's land, and Mexican Mormon population is pretty high. It's a very independent-minded quadrant of Texas as far as voters. So, I don't see anything wrong with this Reyes guy. He said all the right things after Trump was behind Gonzalez. It just seems fishy. I think it had to be that Ted Cruz really did not like Will Hurd. And the fact that Will Hurd wanted to pick a successor, Ted Cruz did not trust that person. So this might be okay for us. I don't know. It's just a matter of money. Gonzalez was clearly situated to do better and could probably raise more money going into the fall. So I hope Ted Cruz puts his nutsack and wallet into this race. And you created the Reyes candidacy, so you fund it. You better win, or you're going to get the blame. That's what happens in politics when you stick your neck into it.
There's only 25 precincts out.
Yeah. So Tim Anderson's reporting that Hudspeth County 0% of the vote is in. I don't know.
And that was the really small county. Like
Real small. That's the thing about that. Everything's real small outside of the. Big Fish is calling it for Reyes. That's tough news for us, but I don't think I can deny him. It's moving that way. We're split 2 full points now. Well, what did we get? We got everything else we wanted.
Yeah, can't win them all, I guess.
That's Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I mean,
He's not that
besides this, we got everything else we want.
Everything else is amazing. I think it's better that we have an abortion against our person, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't think?
I think, for Ted Cruz, and this, everything else aside, just sticking with this race, for Ted Cruz to, kind of plant his flag down into that area in Texas where, he relates pretty well to those people, he's going to have to put up or shut up. If Reyes doesn't have fundraising capabilities, you don't come running to the RNCC Young Gun program and try to get money out of them. You're certainly not going to get a lot of attention out of the other races that are going to be fighting hard to win, like Pete Sessions and John Cornyn Senate race. So Ted Cruz, not running for election this year, he's going to have to put up some money. And if he does that and he hits the trail and he goes out there and, hey, we win the seat. But it's a toss-up seat. I fail to recall the exact Cook PVI on that, so I'm going to go ahead and look it up. Hillary carried it in 16 by 3 points. Will Hurd won all of 3 of his races by 2 points or less. Everyone who runs there is of Hispanic background. Just give me the freaking PBI. I don't know why you F around. Okay. Yeah, it's an R+1. It's like talk about the margin of error. There's none. None. So that'll be a big seat for us. Be a big seat. You know what? It's the real silent majority that we like to talk about. There's a subset to that, a subsection, if you will, in the polling, in the quantitative analysis that you're doing of the silent majority. I believe it's going to be the traditional Hispanic Catholic voters that live in that southern portion of Texas. And I think that if Trump's message is getting through that, I'm building a wall to protect the jobs that you have, so that someone doesn't come in and, disrupt your communities or bring human trafficking and drugs through your community, which of course we know that Laredo and all up and down the Rio is susceptible to that. They might actually, I think go 3 points towards Trump instead of the other way like they did last time. So there's a chance that Reyes could be a beneficiary of that. And we could pick up a couple of seats in addition to that in Texas that we desperately need, because I'm not looking to California to help bail us out with picked up seats, although I do think that we have at least two that we're going to pick back up. Darrell Issa has got a pretty good shot. And then we'll keep the one that we just got with Garcia, who took over from the crazy perverted woman.
Then I don't know about young Kim again. She's up again. I mean,
And then maybe we can get back 48. Maybe.
And the other one, maybe.
Maybe. And I hear people trying to tell me that Devin Nunes is in trouble, and I have yet to see any hard evidence that that's the case. They're going to put a lot of money against him, but I don't know that.
Not that I know of. I mean, I haven't heard anything, but like the emails for fundraising from everybody which way and up are like insane.
Yeah. We got to keep an eye on that stuff. I mean, Devin's been out there, and he's put himself out there so far at times that he's made himself almost a figure of national media. The Democrats are going to want him as a figurehead. And I've noticed that Kevin McCarthy is kind of ambivalent about the whole thing sometimes. Doesn't really come rushing to the aid. And we saw what happened. You saw it. I saw it firsthand out there with Dana Rohrabacher, the way Kevin McCarthy just when he did answer the phone, he didn't say much. And when he said he'd do something, nothing seemed to materialize. And I hope that we're not haunted by losing the 48th. You lose it twice in a row, it's gone.
Yeah, and the problem is, like, there's no door knocking. You can't.
Yeah, it's a hard
It's all going to
campaign.
be called. It's all
Yeah.
right now. I mean, Newsom shut everything down again.
It's a hard campaign.
It's still stuck. Percentage is still the same for these guys. Like nothing is moving.
Yeah, there's still some sore tootsies out there if you're checking Twitter. And I just don't get it. I don't get the end game here. If you look at the results of what happened in Alabama, you look at the differential between, I know Congressman Byrne had a pretty decent third place showing, 24% or whatever. But if you look at the 2-point spread between Tommy and Sessions only a few months ago, and you see this type of just ass wrecking, how do you contend that this was not the right call and that Doug Jones is not in a fetal position right now? Of course he is. Trust me. This is what I do. I can tell you he's nervous as hell. And that statewide domination tonight by Tommy against a man who held off, I think, for like 6 freaking terms or whatever, and then was attorney general, and then attempted to utilize the extra time the coronavirus gave him from a delayed election to bash and smear the coach. And it absolutely did nothing. It actually it only entrenched the support for coach. So for people that are out there on Twitter saying that, this is another Roy Moore situation, you're not even the toilet seat. You're underneath the toilet seat where the diarrhea splashes up and hits underneath and
The
you can't see
splashback.
it. Yeah, you're the splashbacks, We don't need you at all. If you don't live in Alabama, and we don't give a shit as Republicans if you don't live in Alabama about your opinion. Tommy Tuberville is the perfect man at the perfect time. And John James is the perfect man at the perfect time. Cory Gardner is not the perfect man at the perfect time for the state of Colorado, and that's going to be a problem for us. Martha McSally is not the perfect woman at the perfect time in Arizona, and we're going to have to fight that back because Mark Kelly is one seriously compromised astronaut, and we got a chance with his venomous stance against the Second Amendment and his subservient attitude towards China. All we need is money and voter intensity, and we win the Arizona Senate seat. And Susan Collins, I don't really care. I mean, if we're trading, we're trading. So Trump was actually fairly competitive up there, New Hampshire, Maine. So she's running away from Trump right now, so I think she's done. Lindsey Graham got a little nervous a couple of weeks ago and started to do his little tiptoe. I saw him on the news tonight, and it looked like a decidedly more resolved Lindsey Graham to back the president, call Robert Mueller as a witness, not question openly the Roger Stone commutation. So I think there's a chance when Lindsey Graham wakes up, gets that, starts sniffing whatever needs to be sniffed and wake the hell up. And Tillis is the same way in North Carolina. I mean, don't hedge your bets. Don't hedge your bets. This president, you're going to go down with him, but you ain't going to survive by running away from him. That's just not what I see right now. A lot of happy people on Twitter, and I am happy for them. So what do we have outstanding here, guys? Anything?
Still, 25 precincts remaining, 93% reporting, and it's according to the Times, 2%. It's like a 2% lead over Reyes.
Yeah.
Oh, 3%. Sorry, my math. 3% now.
And Big Fish News already called it. And I've never known him to be wrong.
Fish News needs to go on business.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for the president. I'm thrilled for Tommy. I'm thrilled. Are we up on YouTube right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Is it not coming up for me?
Might be hold on, it might be a different.
I see it on YouTube.
Oh, well, the link would have changed then?
Yeah.
Well, okay. There we go. Okay, that was my bad. You know what? I recognize that Mustachio account. If you can block it on your end, I would recommend you do it. It'll save you a lot of hassle.
Is that YouTube or is that
That's
Periscope?
YouTube. I'm sorry. That's
All right.
YouTube. Yeah, harassing some of my good friends. It's uncalled for. So, like they say, you're out of here. For the most part, everybody's in a cheery, good mood. We don't need any slimy types in there. I think I have a good idea of a channel you can go to if you want to be a hateful, fucking, atheistic, fucking, friendless, loser prick. But it ain't here. So take your herpes-infested ass and go over with your brethren. I did. Thank you very much. I on the Periscope side, I did wait, Biker, for this outcome way too long. Matter of fact, I think Slider and I did a beta test. Oh my God, was it a month ago? And we thought we had it on private. Didn't really matter. We didn't care. But Jen pops in. Jen popped in, and three of us were talking about. My God, we got to wait till July 14th for this thing. I mean, it's gonna suck waiting that long to have this day, to have this victory. And I gotta say, it's not hitting me yet. It's just not hitting me yet, the enormity of the win. Not that and you queried me a little bit before we got on, like, you know, is this going to be over at a relative decent time? Are we going to know the answers? And I'm like, yeah, I think we're going to know the answers pretty soon. But I didn't know we were going to know the answers, you know, basically in 1 hour. And that's where we're at. And that's just, it never gets my BP up, you know, and I'm not used to that. You know, I've been, you know, riding some third rails for a while, and sucks never knowing when you're going to get fried. And this one turned out like a dream. Like a dream. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back and look at the results one more time just to.
Yeah, Sessions still hasn't matched what he got March 3rd, but Tuberville is just almost 100,000. Almost got 100,000 over what he got last time.
It's just that's a whooping, son.
Yeah, that's catastrophic.
It is a catastrophic. It's a catastrophic display of domination. I mean, we knew Madison was going to be a place for him. We knew his hometown, Mobile, but that's it. And the turnaround in Shelby was impressive. Just crushed him. And I can't be more proud of this guy. He just did not take the bait. It would have been so. And the Jefferson, by the way, where I wanted it to widen up, it widened up. And I just, you know, when you get a guy who, for the lack of a better terminology, I want to call a grown man a debutante, but you know what I mean, a neophyte in the game of politics, first time in the ring, and I'm telling you, U.S. Senate, that's the ring, man. And when you're in there and they lie and deface and defame and attack your family and everything about you, your career, your achievements, and you know they're doing it because they're down, the hardest thing in the world is to just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And I think as a coach, it took discipline, because it's really no different than, you know, being up 21-10 in the fourth quarter and running it on third down. I mean, they're just trying to get you to throw the ball. They're trying to get you to make a mistake. They want you to have an interception. They want you to have incompletion to stop the clock, make the game go longer. And Tommy and his team didn't take the bait at all. And they didn't need to be told what to do because they already knew it. And big time victory. Good friend of the president now, that have become close over the last month or two. And I think that's really something that Trump is going to lean on. They're going to lean on each other coming down, going into November. They're going to lean on each other. And I certainly hope that Trump can develop that same relationship with John James up in Michigan, where the campaigning together takes on that, just that synergy, where two guys really like each other, and what needs to be said, and you can back each other up. And that's what we need in Michigan. That's what we need in Alabama. We'll see what happens with the McSally race in Arizona, but we need to make up about 5 points in Arizona, which is crazy. And we have a dead even race in North Carolina, which is also equally as crazy. So we've got to make a charismatic campaigner out of Tillis, which is that's not easy. That's not easy. But you know what? If they took Mark Levin off radio and put his face on TV, then anything can happen. We can make a charismatic senator out of Tillis down there in North Carolina. But yeah, as you were alluding to, 61 to 39, 325,743 votes for Coach to 209,435 for Jeff Sessions. He won all but 3 counties in the entire state. I cannot imagine a worse outcome for Doug Jones, never mind Jeff Sessions. It is a terrible talking point that is going to be stuck in the craw of Morning Joe and the ilk in the liberal media. They will be forced to talk about how Ronnie Jackson is going to be the next congressman from the whatever the hell it is, 13th district or whatever in Texas. They're just, and Pete Sessions is back. They hate Pete Sessions, right? They wanted Pete Sessions out. Remember, Pete Sessions wrote a bunch of letters from the committee asking some uncomfortable questions early on about the investigations into Trump. They didn't like him. They wanted him out. Well, guess what? He's coming back. And that's very good news for the president. So you got Pete Sessions, you got Ronnie Jackson, and you got the Piece de Resistance, which is, of course, soon to be Senator-elect in a matter of months, Tommy Tuberville. So I don't have much else to say, to be honest with you, man. It's your show. If you want to.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think everybody's said what they wanted to say. I think we've got to give it to Rivera.
Reyes,
Reyes over Gonzalez. I think that's probably done.
Big Fish News already called him. And John James sent a wonderful, nice tweet to Tommy too.
Oh, let me look that up.
Yep.
Let me look that up. There's a good tweet from Ronnie Jackson, too, on the phone with Donald Trump. Well, one last question before I let you go, Slider, because you've been a fact checker since Q got off the ground. What now for the Jeff Sessions mystery? What is he going to be lodged into as far as the next conspiracy?
Well, maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe he's needed to testify and he couldn't win anyway.
There we go. That's exactly right. Yep. Or worse. Why was Sessions so desperate to get back in there in the first place? Is it because he would be a sitting senator?
Maybe he couldn't testify.
Wouldn't testify.
Oh, shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, there's our Q theory. Take it or leave it. But before anybody goes, we're going to wrap it up here because I want to spend some time with my good friends who traveled a long way. And I want to thank Slider for doing this. we are going to have a very good news cycle tomorrow. I think the market futures were already up. Market had a great day today. We're starting to get past the record numbers that they're talking about because the hospitalizations are not following the positive tests on the COVID, and certainly the deaths are not doing that lagging thing that they like to talk about in tiny little offices at the NIH. So I think you look at what Jeff Sessions has to say tomorrow or tonight, and I think you look at what the media has to say about the record of endorsements that Donald Trump performance put on display today. And I think that they're probably going to want to talk a lot less about this election or two and a lot more about Trump spending an hour bashing the shit out of his opponent in the Rose Garden. That's probably going to be their main talking point tomorrow. But certainly we'll give Jesse Waters will have something to make Juan Williams choke tomorrow, and that's always fun. And
Trump tweeted about Ronnie Jackson, so that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, and that's a good tweet. Ronnie has a tweet of himself talking to Trump. And like I said, before you go, if you would be so kind as to follow on Periscope and follow on hit the subscribe button, hit the bell on the YouTube side. We'll be on there. You never know when it's going to come. When there's something happening, we might just jump on and do some formats like this where we can run some news along the bottom, along the top, and do some stuff with tech that tells more of a story while we're just talking. So it's fun. It's working out. Still kind of new. It's not a end game. I just would download To the Republic app. It was easy enough for me to do, and that I know you're still working on. So don't get too frustrated if you expected more right away. This is something he's working on. So better to have it in your back pocket and on your phone than not. And it's a pleasure, my friend. I want to thank you for being the host.
Yeah,
this.
thanks Jen and Brian for running the decision desk.
Yes, we're going to take Slider would like to thank you, Jen and Brian, for running the decision desk. If Brian does not like to talk out loud, but you might want to say hello.
I'm not here.
Okay, he says he's not here. You're not here. That's not Brian. I thought it was Brian.
I will tell you one thing.
Oh, that's your boyfriend? I thought it was your
Yes, my
husband.
boyfriend.
Okay, anyway.
So Gonzalez just closed the gap, 49.3 to 50.7%. Whatever just dumped,
1%.
it's now less than one. About
Why are you doing this to
I'm
us?
sorry. They just updated it. Like literally, it's been sitting.
Oh, come
I just
on
had to
now.
tell you that. So we make it. Yeah, it's 300 votes out. That's why they're not calling it.
See, now Slide's going to have to bring that one back up.
Yeah, bringing it up.
Yeah. Woo-wee! Look at that. Look at that little piggy. That's a 300 split.
And he just, whatever just came in, just all went for him. Because the other guy, Paul Reyes, stayed the same. Well, he actually, the percentage went down.
Holy crap. And we still got, what, 15 precincts?
Mm-hmm. Well, 319, yeah. 15. Letting you know before we sign off, Slider.
Well, why sign off now?
Exactly, I'm saying, why sign
You know?
off? I mean, it's so close right now.
We'll hang out. Anybody else wants to hang out with us here for another couple minutes?
Yeah, it's down to 319 vote difference.
Yeah, that's nuts, especially considering all of what we don't know is outstanding. You know, I don't know what the procedure is there. I don't know what court decisions, how things were changed. Nothing's easy, man. Nothing's easy. But this would be worth it if we hung out. If we hung out and this actually came to fruition. You think Trump would call up Cruz tonight and rib him a little bit? I think he would. I think he would get on the phone. I think he would get on the phone, rib him just a little bit.
So apparently El Paso County does have El Paso in it. So
Hell, man, that's getting toward. Yeah, El Paso, the city's all in a separate congressional district. That was the Beto district, right? Big Fish is almost retracting his call. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is pretty. Big Fish does not vacillate. What do you think, Greenskin?
Oh man, I don't know. The momentum was on Tony's side, though. I don't know. Whatever just came in, I want more of that.
So that tends to be the case. I mean, whatever starts trending
It's creeping up.
tends to go that direction. When you get some voting inertia going, some kinetics going that way, tends to stick that way for whatever's left till you run dry. If the well runs dry on him before you can catch him, that's one thing. But right now, I think we're approaching what you would think runoff. No, I'm sorry. Obviously not runoff, but a recount territory. Especially when you got the president pitted against the U.S. senator. No one's going to give in too easy on this one. That's right, High Turbine. We got ourselves a good old-fashioned cliffhanger. You can barely see it at the bottom there, but the Jane, it's showing 319 out of 335. I think it's technically 320 now out of 335 precincts. So you could see a little mini dump here in the next couple minutes. Three Sisters is hanging in there. I appreciate that because I know your bedtime is right about now. And I know Jim's already in bed. There's no cliffhanger in Texas that's going to keep Jim awake. Am I correct? Yeah, we still got about half of whatever part of El Paso. Yeah. Oh, he's working. He's working. Well, if he was home, he'd be asleep, and you know it. High Turbine is a glutton for punishment. Yes, we are aware. Most people that hang out with us tend toward the masochistic side. This is, after all, politics. I agree, Maddie. We're looking at whatever, unless something weird happens with the rest of the El Paso vote, which I'm not inclined to believe based on the first dump. I think we're headed to recount territory. But because we got the personalities of a U.S. senator and a president. You think they're going to roll over on this? This is a proxy match here. This is a thumb wrestling match between the president and the U.S. senator. So, oh, he is asleep, not gone. Well, let's just hope he's not gone. Don't run him out of the house, Diane, for God's sakes. Don't run him out of the house. He's a useful man, that husband of yours. Boy, that thing's just stuck. That needle's stuck. you know, they still deliver votes by donkey in that area. I'm serious. They do.
The borough vote.
Yeah. Load up them mules with that boat.
So there are 41 people on and only 22 likes for a cider show. So people even hit the like button.
Hey, YouTubers. YouTubers. Hit the how hard is it? You go up, you hit the little X in the corner, you hit like. If we were being paid to do this, we had sponsors, we'd be sitting here like NASCAR drivers talking about, well, we like to thank Mountain Dew, the Mountain Dew broadcast ran really well tonight. Had one shut down in the middle of that, but the Hershey chocolate team really came together and brought it all together, and now everything went well. We don't have sponsors, so we don't talk like NASCAR drivers. So the least you can do on behalf of Slider Blaze here is just hit the freaking thumbs up button. Where are you going to get more enthralling election information than have right here?
And we promise to keep it PG.
Yeah. Well,
Within the-
yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't announce it to all the Periscope people, but we are in fact over on YouTube as well. But you can do both. That's the way I do it. Yes, Juan Valdez is probably voting from one of the precincts in this race. Hi, Turbine. Don't get that worked up about it, for God's sakes. Damn, it's a slow night of election return when you're watching repeats of old hockey games. But I get it. Vegas, the Golden Knights had a good year last year. Yeah, that's the thing. We try to put my name in the title just so people know that I'm on with them. I'm the ugly sister along for the date. The YouTube channel is To the Republic. To the Republic, all one word. Search it, and it'll come up in your search query on YouTube. And then you just hit the subscribe and then the bell. I like doing both, actually, when I can, because when I get the computer's doing the broadcasting, so I can't use that for much. And then the phone for Periscope, the iPad for YouTube, and the research assistant from California does all the vote tabulations after the important Senate race is over, so that I can see these comments and enjoy the night with you. We can all celebrate.
The decision desk and the Times have the exact same.
Everybody's locked in on 319 out of. Okay.
Same exact percentage, same votes. So now you've got to know somebody dumps big. There's still probably.
This is the shit that I saw happen on election November 8th, 2016, my home county. I'm telling you, it was just so irritating because our county officials were fucking up. Pardon my language. Mucking up. That's what I meant to say. Mucking up the results and the tabulation so we couldn't, the networks wouldn't call PA because of my freaking home county. I mean, so I can't imagine what these people feel like down there. I mean, they're holding up a national watch race here. You get on your freaking mule and ride. Let's go. Let's get them down there. Get it to the courthouse, wherever it's got to go. Yeah, real quick, Kellyanne's talking about that resignation letter from the New York Times editor.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen anything like that in a while. I think
No.
the Fox was the only one who reported it. But talk about throwing a Molotov cocktail. Holy shit. She really lit up, what's going on inside there. I mean, you don't need a James O'Keefe video when you have somebody from
No.
inside coming out and writing a full piece saying how bad it is. So,
Well, wasn't there another, or was that, isn't she like the second one? Wasn't that
yeah. Well, there's another one. It was slightly,
less, but
yeah.
they still resigned?
This one was like a
Yeah.
scorched earth type thing. We're losing High Turbine. He can't hang on long enough to get these results.
I'm right there with him.
Yeah, we're starting to lose the host of the freaking show here. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna give it till 11:45. All right, we're gonna give it till 11:45, and right now we are at 11:38.
So what was in this this letter from this wise girl? Because I didn't get a chance to read it.
It was basically a detailed resignation regarding the oppressive leftist culture that has taken over the editorial room of the New York Times, and give some pointed examples as to why it may not be even recoverable. It was just pretty devastating, and she's by no means a conservative or moderate or anything like that. It was a leading story on FoxNews.com, but other than that, I didn't see it anywhere.
Oh, it was trending on Twitter. It was trending on Twitter. It was in the top. They couldn't hide it.
If it didn't have hashtag Tuberville or Sessions on Twitter today, I
Exactly.
really didn't give a shit.
Well, I saw a hashtag PA House, and I'm like, what's going on?
High Turbine called me a numbnuts, which, hey, he called me worse to my face when I saw him in New York. So, okay, he means siesta time down there. Well, I don't think that's actually siesta time down there, but it's possible. It's possible. Northern Mexico, he refers.
I sure came a long way to meet you. I mean, remember his whole thing with the plane didn't go, then he had to take the train, then the trains were missed. I don't know if you remember his story. That will probably remind you of it, but he went through a lot just to meet us.
Who?
High Turbine. New York.
Oh, yeah.
His
Well, he
friend-
scared the hell out of me, too, because he was
Yeah.
the first one to show up to the place. Cowboy hat, big
Yeah.
boots. He was stalking me down the stairs because he knew me, but I didn't know him.
Exactly.
And I turn around, here's this 6'3",
Yeah.
6'4" in
Guy that looked like
boots.
he was about ready to pull a
He
slipper
gave me a
on you.
look, and I was like, "Man, are you all right?" Yeah, he scared me. He scared me, but I knew he wasn't armed because we're in New York City, where
Yes.
no one's armed. And if I never have to see the inside of any of the 5 boroughs again, I'll be a happy man.
What's left of him anyway.
Nothing left in New York City but freaking psychos.
Well, now Kellyanne's there. Well, she's in.
She's right. She's outside of New York City. I don't want to give her away.
Oh, I don't know.
I
But I
think
mean, New
she's-
York.
yeah.
But they're not in the city. That's
I think her husband might work in the city.
Well, sometimes we can't help where we live. I get you, Kellyanne.
Yeah, oh, man, Chuck, you have no idea. He was totally the urban cowboy. It was hilarious. Is it like the outdoor opening closing? It always sounds like someone's yanking on this thing. Is that just somebody? Does that go out to the patio?
No, that's on the other side.
Oh, that's right. We're on the other side of it.
You hear that door. There is nothing out here.
Yeah, he said trains, planes, and
Yeah,
automobiles.
I forgot
Yes,
about how bad it was
exactly.
for him,
I
yeah.
remember. He was like, went through.
Yeah.
Heck, and he didn't have a cell phone, and it was a poor guy.
Yeah. All right, give me some votes here. We're starting to push 11:42 here.
I know, I'm looking.
Go.
still the same. I'm gonna refresh again. Still at 95% recording.
That's a good point, Maddie's saying, you know, in New York, nobody's armed, but everybody's being shot at.
Exactly. So pathetic, isn't it?
That is a line somebody from like the Five should pick on. That's like a gut feel line right there. That's a
Did you
gut
see
feel
that
line.
Maddie got treated by Rich Nicole?
Oh yeah, I want to congratulate Maddie Adams.
Yes.
A lot of people didn't realize that, but Grinnell gets into battles and he gets like 40, 50 retweets, 50,000 rather. And he retweeted on a response that Maddie made to something. And I think it was like, last time I saw it was 28 or 29,000 people retweeted the total thing. So Maddie's like a celebrity now.
Yeah, exactly. And we're lucky to know her.
So I will take the hat I'm not wearing off to Maddie Adams, a personal favorite and no stranger to the left coast. Not as far left as you, but
Oh, but she's in a nice red area.
we're hoping to keep that state red because I'm telling you, it's starting to swirl purple.
319 Adam votes separated too. 319 votes. So you gotta think that we trigger a recount, right?
I think, well, because of the last dump closing the gap instead of extending it, you would think that like I was telling you, like that kinetics are working in that direction. But we won't know, and Slider will fall asleep before any of us find out. So it's really hard to produce a show when he's fucking snoring. So we have T minus 1 minute.
Hey, I'm going to be the first person to fall asleep on a scope.
Well, the last person who frequently did that is not somebody you want to emulate at any point of your life. So don't make it a habit. Oh geez, just west of it, Chuck. Just west of it. Hey George, good to see you.
Hey, George.
Fellow Californian. George is in the house. Always good to see you, my friend. Ernie making another one of his local jokes. I love him. We're waiting. Yeah, actually, Ernie, we want you to take us out. We'll do Dolphin Highlands. Ernie, take us golfing. Text me and let me know. I got 2 extra sets of clubs for the lovely couple over here. So it's on you. It's on you.
No pressure, Ernie.
No pressure, Chuck. No pressure. You know what? I hate Jim Beam High Turbine, but the only time in college that I would drink it, if it was the only thing there, was to put 7-Up or Sprite. I couldn't do Jim Beam and Coke. I really don't like Jim Beam. As a matter of fact, I hate almost all regular whiskeys now. I'm cursed to love Scotch I can't afford, so I don't drink it. I haven't had Scotch. The last time I had Scotch was at the Trump Hotel.
I was gonna say at the Trump Hotel.
Yeah.
No. 95. It's still 319, 335. I think, I don't know, they're waiting for the wind to blow the boats in. If there's any wind
You know
there.
what? We're going to wrap this up, but I'll tell you what, I think we're going to retire maybe quietly to the patio, maybe have a couple drinks,
Yeah.
and then we'll keep our devices open and Periscope if something interesting happens. We're not going to tie up anymore because Slider did a lot of work to get all this done, so we're going to let him do whatever he does at this hour of the night.
Pass out with my ass out.
Done. What? Fish? It's not showing up.
What? Who said?
Fish, Big Fish is saying there's only 130 vote difference. 132.
Yeah, here it is.
Yep, there it is.
I
There
didn't
it
get it.
But they didn't show a change in the precincts.
It doesn't show anything.
How could the precincts not change, but the number change?
Oh yeah, this number changed, but the precincts didn't change. Yeah.
So we're still at 319 out of 335, but the vote total just went sideways.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally a dead heat.
It's a day.
132 votes.
I think we earned 10 more minutes out of Slider.
Big Fish News again is ahead of us.
10 more minutes. 10 more minutes, Slider.
It's gonna
10
be
more.
it's gonna be 2 a.m. We're like, we got one precinct to go.
I
Yeah.
was like, do you owe me something? I don't know what, but you owe me something.
I know that when I first talked to Slider about ever doing anything together, because at the time I was like, I like you, I've met you, we've talked in person, but things suck when you try to collaborate. But I did trust him, and the one thing he did tell me was like, listen, man, no offense, but I'm not sitting around for 3-4 hours on this fucking thing. And I was like, man, that is like music to my ears. I have no interest in doing that either. The people that generally follow me are not interested in these ad-lib, run-ons that make no sense at all and escape into weird areas of, pop culture and all that other bullshit. I can do that on my own, Periscope. So I apologize. I made a promise to him, but you got to give me 10 more minutes on this race. This is intriguing shit, man.
Yeah, I'm good.
This is Trump versus,
I just didn't think that this would be coming in. Like, I had given up hope.
Votes are coming from Bexar, which says 100% reporting. So I'm not sure what's left. No, Chuck, there's no way they're going to want to play Hershey Country Club. They haven't golfed in quite a while. I think we'd probably be better off, Chuck, if we go to like...
I'll bring the golf cart.
Chuck, let's go to like Manada or Rich Valley. Because there's no way in hell. No way in hell they want to play the Hershey Country Club. So that's interesting. Jen is saying that they pronounce Bexar bear, like the X is silent. Interesting.
Why put it in there?
The pragmatism, the wisdom of Slider Blaze. If the X is silent, why put it in there? Yeah, I know, Tim. It's crazy, but you told me that 25 minutes ago that El Paso was still showing 45%. Not all of El Paso County is in this freaking thing. So, okay, well, that's the dump that made it closer then, because Bexar County is San Antonio. Not San Antonio, but near San Antonio, I would imagine.
And that's where
The part of the district that's in, yeah.
And that's why it went.
That's why it was close, because that's his Gonzalez, that's his backyard. That's
Yeah, I can see the precincts left.
yeah, 16. I need to see which precincts. I need to see which counties.
I'm gonna have to.
Can't get past your paywall anymore.
LaSalle County is out. They have 40% in. Reeves County has 60% in. And the El Paso one's still at 45. It's been at 45% forever now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, well, El Paso is going to play more outside of Gonzales. And the stuff that's closer towards San Antonio is going to, on the eastern side of the Rio is where you're going to find votes for Gonzales. You put that on just to take a leak?
What's that?
You have to put that on just to take a leak?
No, I guess.
Okay. I didn't do it. Fuel.
Yes.
Fuel, M&M fuel. So Jen and Brian are getting used because Pennsylvania is like Slider can tell you, is we're kind of like a schizophrenic state as far as mask compliance. There are parts of the state where if you wear one, people won't let you near them or your store. And then there's parts of the state that if you're not wearing one, you're not getting in. So they're still trying to kind of like go with the flow on mask wearing. But Pennsylvania is just, we're one of the oddest states as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I was gonna say not many people are wearing one right now. If it's really crowded, like I'll go to the convenience store, it's really crowded. People will wear them, but when I go there at midnight, there's like nobody there, so I
Yeah.
don't even wear one.
You got maybe if you're unlucky enough to run into a Karen who like takes pictures of you.
Yeah,
You're
right.
like, who cares? You're never gonna.
I'll-
What are you gonna put me into an NSA database that's gonna identify me and I'm gonna get charged? You know,
I'll start taking my
whatever you want.
clothes off.
I don't think anyone wants that.
Okay, you're out.
Yeah, Long Island is a very specific part of New York as well. Very.
Here we're out. There's all the counties. So
Okay, just stop
Yeah.
going crazy on me. Let's see. Yeah, see, LaSalle is so small, we're not even going to bother looking that up, okay? Reeves, we're not going to bother looking that up. It's El Paso that we have to look up. Like, how many votes of El Paso are in this district? Let me look that up.
Well, so far both votes are, it's 500 combined and 45% are reporting, so there can't be that many.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so tough because it cuts, like Jen was saying, it cuts around San Antonio, doesn't include San Antonio, so that was the Bear County part. And it just cuts like this around San Antonio, and then it goes straight through Medina, all the way through, and then of course, Del Rio on the western side. So I'm guessing that the existing vote is going to keep the results pretty much the way they are right now, which is close enough, I think, for a recount, which he may be required to pay for if it doesn't fall under Texas law. Let me do this before we get off air. Texas law on auto recount. ridiculous. Texas has a ridiculous fucking rule for this shit. I don't think there's any automatic trigger here. Let's see. Check the statutes, but fucking reading statutes right now. Fucking midnight. Hurt my head. Goes over everything but what triggers it. So I guess you have to request it. And then they go into the official recount procedure. Okay, so Reyes has a slight lead in El Paso. It's locked at 45. It's pretty low. Let's go to a double. Let's go to double that in another precinct. So we're going to call that 500 in El Paso. 50. Boy, man, this is really. You're right about the Barrow territory here. Holy shit. Let's use Uvalde as an example. There's not enough. There's not enough votes to. Yeah, I think the best possible option here for Gonzalez is that he closes the gap by like 50 votes, and then you're still 100 short maybe, or less than 100 short, and you're looking at a recount, right? So there's something stuck, there's something held up, and I don't know whether it's counting some type of provisionals. I don't know what it is, but we're not going to find out anytime soon. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up. We'll keep an eye on it for everybody, and I'll tweet it, or we'll do a real quick 5-minute Periscope from the patio out here at the hotel. That's the only one outstanding right now, and that if you're keeping tabs, Trump had a fantastic night. Great results all around. Tony Gonzalez is the one. This is the 23rd district in Texas. We got the Pete Sessions, we got the Ronnie Jackson in Texas. We're all good. Tony Gonzalez versus Ted Cruz, candidate that came the last second, and that's Raul Reyes. That thing is just so tight. It's really hard to call right now, so we're not going to linger around and wait. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll bow out now, Slider, and let you close up the shop. But thanks, Jen and her assistant, for helping make this a successful night. I couldn't be happier. And I'm glad to share it with all of you. And we will see you next time. I will probably see you probably not Thursday night, but definitely we'll do something Saturday night. So I'll get out of here.
Right.
Best to you, Slider, and
All
thank
right.
you for making this happen. Don't forget, thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up, like button on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, follow, Periscope, follow the account. You'll see us on here every now and then. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.
All right, guys.